Hello, my name is Brindon Addy from Addys Butchers at Hade Edge. I'm at home here at Carling Farm. The question I most frequently get asked at the shop is how to cook something or how long something needs to be cooked. So I'm going to show you the three basic principles of cooking. That's frying, roasting, stewing and pot roasting. I'm going to start with a simple stew recipe that I use at home. I don't worry too much about quantities, but we'll start off with a few lardons. I usually have a piece of pancetta or dry cured streaky bacon that we've got here in the fridge because I always think it's something that comes in very handy. We're just going to roughly chop. So I'm just going to de-rind that because I don't particularly want that for this. So this pancetta is just going to add a little bit of seasoning and a little bit of flavour. Then the fat's going to help it cook. Again, if you come into the shop, just ask us and we'll dice this up for you. It doesn't have to be too small. Like I say, we're only using it for the seasoning. Just drop that into your frying pan. Along with plenty of garlic. Top and tail it, bash it with the back of the knife, twist of pepper, not too much because we'll season at the end, but I just like to give it a little twist at the beginning. And then we're just going to add a few sprigs of rosemary from the garden. One of the most godly things on earth is garlic and rosemary. This is one of the tastiest things on earth, pancetta, garlic and rosemary. If we weren't going to use this in a stew, once we've cooked it off, we could just toss it into some pasta that we've just cooked along with a spoonful of pesto and it will be absolutely delicious. So whilst the lardons are frying off, we're just going to season this beef up. I've got some flour there, got some Malvern salt, some really well seasoned flour. Now I've got some chuck steak. In my opinion, chuck steak is the nicest steak for braising. But what I've done with this, in the shop we normally have smaller cubes than this. But if you ask, we'll cut some like this. And it's big cubes, about 2 inches. Because I think that way it just holds together better. And I've not trimmed any of the fat up. It's a leanish piece of chuck with some marbling in there. It's from Ken Tinker, one of the local farmers. And I've just roughly chopped it like that. I'm just going to dust that in seasoned flour. You don't have to do this, but it helps to make the gravy thicken and obviously season the meat. So we're just going to slice an onion. Again, I'm not too fussy. Just roughly chopped. So can you see now as it's cooking that the fat's cooked out of the lardons, and that's what we're going to use now to brown our beef off. So I'm just going to use a slotted spoon now to lift this into the pot roasting dish. And then in the bacon juices, we'll just give a bit of colour to these onions. So while they're cooking, we'll slice our carrots up. And then just for a bit of flavour, I'm going to add 2 carrots to the pot. I've scrubbed them, but I've not peeled them. Well, that's about far enough for what we need it to do. It's not caramelised, just sweated off really. Again with a slotted spoon, throw it all over the floor. We're just going to brown the beef up now. So I've seasoned it well in the seasoned flour, big lumps, and then I'm just going to plop it on. And the secret is to leave it, not to keep touching it. So just let that crisp up. And then have a minute or so on one side and then turn them. That's it. Like my grandma said, when it's brown it's done, when it's black it's buggered. And that's brown, that's just how we want that. Then all those juices in the bottom of there, that's the bacon oil. We're just going to deglaze that with a little bit of red wine. Another little tip, if you've got a red wine, what's left, you've got 2 choices. One is pour it in a glass and drink it, or secondly, pour it into some ice cubes, and then if you won't need any for stock or anything, shove that into your freezer now, and then you can just break them out. So if you're making a stock, you can just add them as you need them. I'm just going to whisk in some of that flour. Don't worry about it clotting because we're going to sieve this. And then I'm just going to add a bit of beef stock. If you haven't got beef stock, just add water. I'm just going to pour that into there. That's our casserole. I'm just going to put it on the heat now to bring that to the boil, and then it's going to go in the bottom of the Aga then to cook about 2 hours. So that's been simmering for 20 minutes. We're just going to pop that in the bottom of the oven, or at 220. So this has just come straight out of the oven, and you can see, because we use seasoned flour, how it's thickened up itself. And nice big chunks. So we're just going to check it for the seasoning. A little bit more pepper, I think, possibly a little bit of salt. Pinch of salt. And a twist of pepper. Perfect.